All right. Listen, I wanted to read at the 22nd, but that's not the one I want. Let me see. Is it 13? No, what I want. Oh, thank you. Well, I don't have you right now. But anyway, David was what? What was David to God? Amen. David was a man after his heart. Why did God say that when David committed adultery? David killed a man, had a man killed. And David acknowledged the fact that I was a sinner. You think God condoned him in that? God don't condone. That was against the Ten Commandments. David was supposed to be stoned. Bathsheba was supposed to be stoned too. But you also find where God said, I have mercy on whom I will. Let's read this. I thought that was in that reading. All that David had done, God still used him. And you wonder why. David always acknowledged his wrong. After he saw it, he acknowledged it. He was sorry for it. And God took but it's something in David that God loved. You say, honey, you know God's not going to, why God's going to use that woman? Well, I knew her when she was a child. She ain't never amounted to nothing. Daddy was snowball and he wasn't no good. That's why we go way back and go think about what they have done in their life. Well, we do our own selves like that. Why would God use a man? Why would he use David? Of all the people to use, why would he use David? That's what you say. And you can't believe it. You run into it's like it's a mental block. But we know God actually took the seed of David and placed that seed into Mary. I mean, how else did he become? How did he become David's seed? David certainly wasn't there. He certainly didn't. There was nothing hanky-panky going on. David's been dead for years. But I want you to see something tonight. If I can just, I know it's late, but I want you to see something. God took that man's seed. He took his seed. And according to the flesh, he was the seed of David. You've got babies, according to Bertha's little boy, the seed of birds. Now, God could have done it another way. But we would have to say he's different from us. We'd have an excuse. We'd have a mouthful of argument. Wouldn't we? Yeah. So think on that. Don't you know when God say you got to be just like my son, don't you say, now Lord, you know I can't be like Jesus. Have you ever said that to the Lord? You know I can't. Why can't you be like Jesus? God will not have you to do something that's impossible. Lord Jesus is different from me. But he said he looked for somebody, And something about David that God knew if he brought forth his son, Jesus, and give Jesus the Holy Ghost, he wouldn't fail. That's how strong David was to God. He said, now if I bring forth David's seed, and read that real quick so I can show them what I'm skipping over a lot of stuff, but first chapter of Romans, read that so they see what I'm dealing with. See, he knew that it was something about David that God knew because he was after his heart, God's heart. And he knew that if he could raise up David's seed, now Solomon didn't have the Holy Ghost. David didn't have the Holy Ghost. But when the fullness of time come, he knew that he raised up David's seed and give him the Holy Ghost. No end to that man. Ah, glory! Romans, read that. Romans first chapter, 2, 3, and 4.
Concerning his son, Jesus Christ,
Is that the first verse?
called a servant of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Called to be an apostle.
Called to be an apostle.
Separated from the gospel of God.
Uh-huh.
Which he has promised before that the prophet and the Holy Spirit. Concerning his son, Jesus Christ, our Lord, which was made of the seed of David. According to David. Why did God put that in? Now he recorded it. This is would you say what the witness or the what God gave about his son, the testimony. How did this man tick? How did this man walk? What made this man so strong? Right over here in Acts, where I was going to read this, but the 22nd verse, the 3rd chapter said, for Moses truly said unto the fathers, a prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me, like unto me, like unto me. See how he brought him with he brought him down to his equal. Like unto me, him shall ye hear in all things whatsoever he shall say unto you, and it shall come to pass that every soul shall come to pass that every soul which will not hear that prophet shall be destroyed from among the people. Then he said, yea, and all the prophets from Samuel and those that follow after, as many as have spoken, have likewise foretold of these days. You understand that?